Welcome to Hockey Nights in Vegas. My name is Eddie Rivkin. I'm joined, as always, by the future Prime Minister of Canada, Sarina Taylor.
You switched it. I know you switched it because you can't say the other word. If I run the province, I'm the what?
Premier.
Getting better. Premier. Yeah, it's getting better. This is good. We're getting there.
But fuck it. I just promoted you. You're the next Prime Minister.
Cheers.
This episode, like all the others, is brought to you by Dr. John Pierce at Ageless Forever, www.agelessforever.net, and the unofficial, soon-to-be official sponsor of the Hockey Nights in Vegas podcast, Golf Gods. Red, white, blue, and there's a reason the red, white, and blue are out there. We're going to get to that. Golf Gods Online. If you don't want to look like an old piece of shit turd on the golf course and you want to have fun, exciting golf wear, go to Golf Gods Online. They've got the best swag. So, want to hear a joke?
There's no better way to start a podcast.
Okay, I have two jokes for you.
Okay.
The IOC and the IIHF.
Oh, are we talking about the size of the ice?
We're starting off with the Olympics. The announcement of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games happened in June of 2019.
Like 25 years ago.
Like
before COVID.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, it was before COVID. The arena is not done. The ice is, well, let's do the arena thing first, because the arena doesn't matter as much to the games. The arena's not done. They say, oh, the arena will be done on February 2nd. The ladies' tournament starts on the 5th. The men's start on the 11th. This is a fucking joke. That's just the building. The big controversy, and I don't want to pat myself on the back as I'm still recovering from rotator cuff surgery. We talked about this a month ago. I said, I don't think they're going. Now, the NHL and the Players Association has sort of pivoted their take a little bit, and they're trying to put a positive spin on it, right? This is fucked. And I'm not just talking about the fact that the ice is smaller, 6 or 7 feet smaller. They said what they're going to do is they're going to keep the offensive and defensive zones the same and shrink the neutral zone.
You have to.
Right. You can't change the dynamic of offensive and defensive plays. But this is a fucking joke. How did they not talk about this 4 years ago?
About the rink not being built?
The not being built, and then the ice being the wrong size.
Okay.
But the overarching thing is player safety here. Right? Bill Daley's talked about it. I can never remember the guy who heads the players union, the Boston guy. Anyway, this is a serious fucking thing. And if you are Kelly McCrimmon or any of the other GMs of the 32 teams in the NHL and your superstars are going to this completely the Olympic rink's going to have 3, 4, 5 games a day on it. Right? It's not like it's one and done like a regular NHL night. They start at 8 o'clock in the morning and they go bang, 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 bang all the way through because they have a whole tournament they've got to get through. This is a terrible situation. And there must have been a memo from the NHL office to all the broadcasters, all the channels, put a fucking happy face on it. Enough of the negative talk. Thankfully, we don't have to do that. This is a gigantic shit show. And if, God forbid, a superstar player, Golden Knight or not, gets hurt, this is going to be big fucking trouble for them.
Well, first of all, most of the guys, this is how I look at it. Most of the guys that play in the NHL today did not grow up playing on NHL size ice. The rink that I grew up in is much smaller. A lot of the rinks in the small towns are smaller than NHL size. So I think that everybody's getting way too wound up about the size of the rink itself. I mean, think about it.
Wait a second. You grew up in the rink that when they built and I'm not picking on you, I'm asking a serious question. I grew up playing on, in one rink and it was 200 by 80. It was.
No, a lot of the small town rinks in Canada are smaller than NHL size.
Because?
They just are. I don't know.
So,
I've never thought about it until now, really. And so, but you get some rinks that are wider. Some rinks, just because the NHL size is a regulation size, it doesn't mean that all the rinks in the world have to be that same size. I had this conversation. I met this incredible girl that works for Vegas Sports Today or whatever at the Silver Knights game. And we were chatting about the size of the ice because she mentioned this. And I said to her, we had this conversation. I said, where I grew up, I said, nothing has to be that size unless it's the NHL. We were talking about the difference between baseball, because baseball, nothing is uniform. They can be, all the stadiums are built different sizes.
Everything is uniform except the outfield fences.
That's what we were talking about. So we're like, some of the outfield fences are different, whatever, right? So it's like that in Canada. A lot of these guys grew up playing on smaller rinks. So does that make it easier now? No, but because they're used to playing on the same size of ice. But I just don't really think it's going to be like the end of the world, the size of the ice.
Okay, so I'll give you a pass on the size of the ice issue. But let's talk about just the functionality of the arena. It's completely unproven.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to Detroit or you go to Boston or you go to Madison Square Garden, there are days where there's a basketball game in the afternoon and a hockey game at 7 o'clock. And the ice is dog shit. We saw it in the Rangers game just a few days ago. The puck was bouncing around like a fucking Super Bowl. Can you imagine the best players in the world, the biggest, strongest athletes on skates, playing on the same patch of ice, 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock? You only get 18 minutes between periods. You can only drive the Zambonis so fast.
Well,
you can only lay down a certain amount of water every single period. I think this is a gigantic problem.
I'm assuming that there's only going to be a maximum of 4 games a day. They don't go every 3 hours because if a game goes like over, it's a lot because people are getting in and out. So when they had the Olympics in Salt Lake City, cold climate, right? It's all fine. They got the Oilers, ice makers, because they're the best in the league, to come down and make the ice in Salt Lake City.
The NHL just sent the ice team over about a week ago.
Right. So when we've talked about this, I don't know, last time or something, about when the World Juniors were moved to the summer. Normally the World Juniors are
Christmas. It's a Christmas thing.
Right. But they're in 2 rinks.
Right.
Group A, Group B, 2 rinks, whatever. That year when they had to move it to the summer, they played it all at whatever the fuck the rink is called in Edmonton. Every game, 4 games a day on that ice. It was 90 degrees outside. 90 degrees. We were like, even I was like, how are they going to do this? That rink was a fridge. It was freezing in there and the ice was fine. 4 games a day for 10 days straight or whatever it was. They did it, but it's because the rink was cold. Like Canada has the best ice because the ground is freezing in the winter. But when you get 90 degrees in the summer, it's a lot different. That's why, and if I want to go on, that's why this winter classic bullshit, whatever, in Florida is a fucking joke. It's a joke. It's a disaster. But I think that they'll be okay. They're going to make sure it's all right.
Okay, but what happens if on day 1 it's not all right?
Oh, I don't know. It's the same as every time they have a tournament like this, though. Every time they have a tournament
right,
like
but
this
is a tournament in an unproven rink. This
I know.
facility was built for the Olympics.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't know. I have serious reservations about this, and now that they're trying to gloss the pig a little bit, I think it's even worse than they're saying. I think that
Probably
the new campaign to be a little nicer about it, I think is an absolute fucking facade. And it's funny you said 2 rinks because there was an interesting, and it's semi-related, an interesting conversation that I heard this morning talking about both the World Juniors and the World Cup of Hockey in 2028. Vegas is in on both of them. And that sounds pretty exciting to me. And the talking head who was talking about it said, hey, they've got 2 great rinks. And he specifically said the rink in Henderson, this would be the secondary rink, is a fantastic facility. How jazzed would you be able to go to I mean, I know you're a World Juniors girl and that's your jam, but imagine if I'm still alive and you're still in the media in 2028, being able to be in the media for the World Cup of Hockey, because they're going to apparently do one city in the United States, one city in Europe, and then the semifinalists from each they'll come here and they'll do the finals here. I got fucking a little chubby thinking about how fun and exciting that would be to have even the juniors. I would go to every game of the juniors if it was here.
So we've talked about this in the past about why the World Juniors are not usually anywhere south of 25 miles from the border, because they don't draw a crowd. Nobody here gives a flying fuck about the World Juniors. When they have them they had them in Grand Forks one year. The Canadians drive down. They drive down and they buy the tickets and they fill the rink.
You don't think that people would come to Vegas for 10 days in December?
Yeah, well, that's the thing you got to understand. So when Canadians go to like the World Junior, they don't take 10 days is a long time. So going down into like junior hockey. So if you break it all the way down, they're even talking about like the Memorial Cup, shortening that, because people are just like, I can't take 10 days off of work, pay 10 days of hotels, food, all that. It's the same as the Junior A Cup. It used to be called the Royal Bank Cup. That's what people are saying. They're like, I can't go out to fucking Prince Edward Island for 2 weeks. I got to pay for hotels. So they're trying to shorten it. So when people would drive down to Grand Forks, they would drive down for the day because the border patrol was always like backed up, or they'd go down for the weekend or whatever. Because when you bid on tickets for the World Juniors, you get put in a draw, because tickets are so, especially in Canada, you don't just go buy tickets. You get put in a draw. It's a lottery because they're so hard to come by. And if you win, great. But you get 2 packages that you pick for the different rinks. So you can go to this one or you can go to this one. I really don't think that Canadians, especially now, would spend their money because of the exchange and come down here for 10 days. They just wouldn't do it.
The exchange is pretty good. I'm excited to go to.
Yeah, for you, but for them,
I know.
You know.
All right, enough international stuff. I want to talk about other things. I thought it was a good topic. It was meh. Do you think that there's a difference between being the best player on a team and the most important player on a team?
Do I think there's a difference?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. I want to give you a staggering statistic.
Okay.
Okay.
Best player and most important.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're going right into the Golden Knights.
A lot
segment.
of stuff's coming into my head
Right,
already.
Okay.
Okay.
8-1-4, 6-5-5. Do you know what the split is?
When Mark Stone gets a point, when he doesn't. When Jack Eichel gets a point, when he doesn't.
When Mark Stone's in the lineup.
Yeah.
8 wins.
Yeah.
1 regulation loss.
I knew it was going to be something like that.
4 overtime or shootout. When he was out of the lineup, he missed 16 games. They were 6-5-5. I got asked on the pregame show, you know, if I think that Mark Stone is the best player on the Golden Knights. And I said, I don't think he is. I do think he's the absolute most important. And I think that seeing that and looking at it on a piece of paper, he is absolutely 100% the straw that stirs the drink of the Vegas Golden Knights. And it's just shocking to me. Just 8-1-4. Besides the fact that he's got a point in every single game that he's played this year, I don't know how to explain it, but
it's easy. He's the captain. He's the captain for a reason. And he's there. It's like there's a reason he's the captain, and he's the captain for a reason. Does that make sense? Like, he's not the most talented guy, but he's the most important because he's the captain. He carries the team. He probably would even say he's not the most talented, but talent comes in different varieties,
Forms,
right?
right?
Right, sure. But if I'm picking guys, 3 forwards and 2 defensemen, and I'm picking them from the Golden Knights, and I'm like, if I'm starting a franchise, these are the 3 guys I'm taking. Mark Stone is absolutely one of them.
it has to be.
Yeah, and that's
He's probably the first person you take.
Oh yeah, because of his character and the quality and everything he brings to a team. right? I mean, I can't, God, man, I can't say enough good things about Mark Stone. And he's one of those guys that when, like, I watched him play junior, I never would have anticipated he would be this type of a player and this important on a team like this.
Impactful, you mean?
Yeah. Yes, impactful. Like, he was good, whatever. He was always good. It was got nothing to do with that. But some of just the way he evolved. And I think that being here, he's not playing in a high pressure environment. He was able to groom and grow as the captain of this team with the support of the coaching staff and the management and stuff like that.
Let's talk a little bit about the road trip so far.
Okay.
Pretty big road trip. They are, if I told you that they've made this trip 4 times and they haven't lost a game in regulation, would you believe me?
I'd have to, because
I wouldn't lie.
Yeah.
That was kind of a staggering fact. They have not lost in regulation in the month of December in New York. Now, I've been on the trip. The times that I was on the trip, it was February, and there was some ups and downs. But when I was watching the broadcast last night, and Dave Gosher brought that up, like 8-0-2 in New York in December. The Golden Knights are 2-0-1 on the road trip. They seem, to my eyes, to be rounding into shape, but there are some new, different issues. 4 or 5 episodes ago, we kept lamenting they keep missing their alarm clock, right? They're terrible in the first period, and then they wake up. Now, for the last 4 or 5 games, they've been gangbusters in the first and sleeping through the second. But overall, don't you think do you think that we're progressing towards seeing the Golden Knights that we expected to see in September? Or is this just a different sort of run of things?
I don't think it's getting worse. I mean, I would say leaning toward more of a positive. There's definitely been some positives that I've seen. And like, I think that, yeah, I would agree 100%. I don't really have much more to say about it because I do feel the same way. I
just
think
filled you up with coffee. You don't have anything more to say?
Well, it's because it's not a controversial topic. I agree.
All right.
Pick something I'm not going to agree on, then we'll go. No, but I do agree with you. It's better to be gradual than hot and cold, because what goes up quickly is going to come down quickly again.
I like their play. And unfortunately, last night, for the first time, we saw your number one man move down to the line, and Stone moved up with Eichel and Barbashev. It was kind of inevitable, right? He hasn't been on the sheet, but he hasn't been bad. He just hasn't been as noticeable, right? He had an assist last night, I think, but he won a couple of games where he didn't have a shot. He didn't really have a significant presence, but he doesn't seem affected by the temporary move down. Mark Stone with Eichel is a natural thing. I really think that, I like a lot about what they see. And we're not going to talk about the goaltending yet because that's an entirely different topic, but we're going to get to it as a follow-up to last week's episode. But they seem to all have found their spots, right? If you put Bowman on with Eichel's line, it's fine. If you put Stone there, Bowman going down to the line, he seemed just as good. He's on the second power play unit. It is connecting again. They seem to me to be really sort of in sync, with the exception still a little bit of the fourth line. Colton Sissons was sick for a couple of games. Riley Smith had to go, out of character and play the pivot on the fourth line. But Brett Howden's been fantastic between, with Marner. And, it's easy to be fantastic when you're playing with 2 playmakers. Just go to the right part of the ice, son.
Mm-hmm.
The puck's going to get there. The team is rounding into shape. Last night was a bit of a weird one, right? They give up, they jump out, and then they give it up. But the stick-to-itiveness of the club shown through again, right? Late goals in New York to get it to OT, late goal last night, right? They just, they play to the whistle. That's what you're taught. You play to the whistle. I mean, it was. I'm happy. I'm content with watching them play. They'll sort out the second period, the long change, the whatever. I think Bruce is concerned that it doesn't continue, right? I think he's identified it as, okay, was the first, now it's the second. They've owned clubs in the third period. But what's your take, I guess, overall on the progression of we don't know what the hell they are to finding their identity? I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I think it's still a work in progress, as any team really is. You're always going to have somebody get hurt, someone get sick, someone get whatever. They got to adapt. But I think what's really important that people have, I guess, been spoiled here with the fact that this team always has character. There's only character guys and quality guys on this team. You're not going to get some guy who's a cancer in the dressing room. If he is, he's gone, right? They don't play like that here. And so if it's not working on all cylinders, it will, because there's character guys. Everybody on this team contributes in one way, shape, or form. Even if we look at the fourth line and they're like, man, they haven't had a goal like for 25 games or whatever, they're still playing a good defensive game, like we talked about when the Rangers were here and the way they played against them. Like, it was just everyone's contributing, and it's not always going to be perfect. We're dealing with human beings and like 25 of them, right? So it's not always going to be perfect, but I think they're in a great spot. And when you can start sometimes getting on the road, it gets you away, gets you away from your screaming babies. It gets you away from everything. You can just go be with your teammates and focus.
Eat lots of good dinners.
Yeah.
Hang out
in New York. Enjoy your time off.
It's not do some Christmas shopping.
Yeah. Like, this isn't the 70s and the 80s where they're doing shit that they probably shouldn't be doing. There's too much social media. There's stories I've heard. This is not really happening like that, right? They're getting a break and they're getting away, and then they get to go do what they love, play a game of hockey.
All right, that's going to end the first half of the show because we are racing through like I had the coffee, not you. We'll be right back after a word from Dr. John Pierce at Ageless Forever. I'm here with Dr. John Pierce, and if you watch the podcast, you've seen information about all different kinds of treatments and procedures and things like that are done here at Ageless Forever. I'm going to tell you the real story of me. And you guys see commercials on television for Ozempic and Wegovy and all these other things, and they tell you can lose this much weight or that much weight and how much money it is and all that other happy horse shit. This is going to be about me and my relationship with my friend of over 30 years. 2 years ago and change, on January 1st of 23, I weighed 340 pounds, and I didn't feel like there was much time left. I felt just horrible. And it's completely my fault. I disrespected everything about my being, but I decided that it was time to call my friend and talk about it and see, not if, I mean, yeah, if it could actually work, if I could get better, if I could continue to live and maybe live a good life. So I was basically 59 when I started at 340 pounds. I'm now 2 years and change into it. I'm walking around 235 pounds. I have never in my adult life felt better than I feel right now. And I owe this 1000%. There's no other factor involved in my wellness than the care of my good friend, Dr. Pierce.
What can I say besides thank you? I mean, those are powerful words.
I mean, tell them, I mean, be honest. Yeah. Tell them how bad it was when we started.
Was it bad? Yeah. We had low testosterone. We had a lot of extra weight.
Cholesterol through the moon.
High cholesterol, blood pressure, immobility. Eddie didn't, share with you, his, back issues and need for, surgical intervention there. But we attacked this, and I'll tell you, as we did, Eddie was a little, hesitant into diving in head first. He put his toes in and tested the water and then kept testing it. And we did a little bit more and a little bit more, but he stayed the course. And that's the key, is we just got a little bit better every day. And we used a GLP-1 medication with him. My goal is to use a lower than what's normally prescribed dose and try to titrate to effect. And the other way I'm doing it now, that we hadn't done with Eddie at the time, is I'm actually dosing it in microdoses throughout the week. So three injections a week at a much lower dose to keep a steadier state of the medication, so we don't get the nausea and the vomiting and the other GI upset issues. So we really reduce the risk for side effects and maintain appetite control. And then we had to work with our nutrition folks here to get Eddie to really believe in eating healthier. Because when I first talked to him about, he said, it's working well. I don't drink a whole 6-pack and eat 2 pizzas. I'm down to 2 Cokes and a half a pizza. And I said,
baby steps. It's all about baby steps, folks.
With Eddie, it's all still crap. So you're now absorbing more of it because it's going through the system slower. But now we've got him eating a lot healthier. And there's still work to be done. And that's with all of us. We all try to get better every day. He's following a good supplement regimen, good diet. He's beginning exercise, walking around with 110 pounds less makes life a lot easier. I remember we took a trip to New York, and we were walking to one of the games, and you slipped and fell on your knee.
Yep. On the grate.
On the grate. And I thought, oh man, because that, and you didn't get hurt, but we were on our way down with the weight. I think today it would have been we would have been just laughing about it.
Right. But in the beginning, it would have been tragic,
disastrous. But I never forget it, because I was like, oh geez, that had to hurt. I'm sure it did, because you end up going home, called it an early evening. But bottom line is, we have a lot of services to offer with weight loss. We can use medication. We have nutrition consultants here. We have hormone replacement for both men and women. We do peptide therapy for the right reasons, using great, good sources through U.S. pharmacies. So if there's things that you want to improve about with your health and wellness, please come in. Let's just sit down and talk and find out what it is you're looking to do. And I'll give you an honest answer of whether or not we can help your, but in most cases, I believe we can.
I mean, it's simple. This one's a little different than all the others. This is my truth and this is my story. And I'm going to spare you, because I'm a kind, gentle soul, sharing the before and after pictures, because you don't need to see that, especially if you just had a nice meal. But you owe it to yourself, and I'm proof that it works. So if you want to feel better about yourself, it doesn't cost you anything to have a conversation. I mean, is there anything better than free and knowledge when you put those two things together? Pick up the phone. When you get one of the girls on the phone, say, you heard about Ageless Forever on the Hockey Nights in Vegas podcast. They'll set you up with a consultation. You'll just sit and talk, and you'll share, and Dr. Pierce will tell you what he thinks he can do. And again, the end of all these is the same. You owe it to yourself to be the best you. And this is the way that I chose to do it. And I might not be around to do this podcast if I didn't, take advantage of the opportunity and believe in it and commit to it slowly at first. But now it's a lifestyle thing for me. I'm carrying the weight. I still could use a little bit less, but I'm not gaining the weight back. All that stuff that you hear about, when you get off of it, you immediately blow back up. That's happy horse shit. If you take care of yourself, you'll maintain it. So do something good for yourself. Do something good for your significant other, for your kids. All it takes is a phone call and a sit down. So that's what I highly recommend. If you have any questions, you want to talk to me about it, shoot me a message. Everybody knows how to find me. So if you're ready to take the first step, pick up the phone, call 702-838-1994. Any of the girls can take care of you. Your first appointment is on the podcast. Just mention to them that you're a fan of the Hockey Nights in Vegas podcast. Do something good for yourself. Pick up that phone, make the call. You'll thank me later. I know that. All right, we're back. A couple of quick notes. Congratulations to Shea Theodore. 300th point as a Golden Knight. Congratulations to the search party who found Pavel Dorofeyev's scoring touch. He scored for the first time in I can't tell you how many games. Boy, yeah, he's really streaky. I mean, he blew out of the gate with 10. He disappeared for 10 or 11. Had some looks, but you know the hockey gods balanced stuff out. So I expect he's about to get ready to go on a really big run. So we forgot to do that. You know what I haven't heard in the last week?
What?
One fucking chirp about Carter Hart's past. Isn't that amazing how we fucking throttle people for being idiots? He shows up. He has been awfully, awfully good.
Well, yeah. You know, like, I was so glad that the first night he played here, as soon as they showed him up on the thing, people started cheering. And I was like, there was some fucking donkey in the stands. Some stupid bitch had a sign about some shit. And I'm like, if you don't like it, leave. Just like the Carolina Hurricanes fans that were going to boycott.
The four
of their 10 season ticket holders. Just why do people always have to argue about everything? If you don't agree with something, move on. If you are a victim of any type of sexual abuse yourself, I'm sorry for that. I really am. You know, but like, that's your issue to deal with, and it's not anything else. Like, I'm glad that, like everything else, it all calms down over time. Let's move on.
And then there's that W word, winning.
Yeah, well, yeah, right? I mean, Jesus.
I mean, I'm very impressed with the fact he didn't play in 22 months. He showed me, because I can admit, it's the first time I've watched him play 60 minutes, you know, on any consistent basis, because when he was in Philadelphia, they were dog shit, not even watchable. But I am fairly sure that what my eyes are telling me is correct. He's a bona fide number one goalie in the NHL.
Well, of course, yeah.
He's super athletic, and we always talk about, does the goalie cost you a game? Does the goalie steal you a game? And we didn't have that scenario until Carter Hart showed up, because he was unbelievable in overtime, both times, right?
Well, even here.
Right. Well, that's what I mean.
3 times. Or what? No, he didn't play the one game.
So,
anyway, sorry.
So I'm impressed as much with his athleticism, you know, and his twitch, as I am with his overall play, considering the incredible amount of layoff. And yeah, he had a few games in Henderson, but, you know, we used Fiat to Ferrari as the comparison to what game pace is like. There is not a goalie controversy in this city right now. Period. Hard stop. Akira Schmid, as good as he was, as serviceable as he was, getting points in everything but 2 games that he started, career high in wins, plus 900 save percentage, below 3 goals against, fine, well, and good. You did what a good backup should do, but now there's a starter. The interesting caveat is he played the last 2 games in a row. Philly is next tomorrow night. I wonder if they're not going to play him in Philly. Listen, he's got no beef with the city. It's not like when players leave the city, as, you know, they pull in a van.
It's a weird situation.
It's a totally weird, different situation. But I'm kind of surprised, with the assumption that he doesn't play tomorrow, that they don't let him get some flowers, because he was good for them. I messaged Paul De Los Santos, our friend in the press box. I go, they going to hide him in Philly? And he's like, he's got no real beef with the city. He said the fans are assholes, but every fan of Philly sports is an asshole. I'm a little surprised because you don't want to let Akira Schmid get too far out of the groove, right? He's been dependably good for them. Do you think they're not going to play him tomorrow night? Oh, we got a coffee take.
First of all,
wait, can we change? Oh, no, okay. The feet are in the shot, so we're good.
Excuse me while we go back to last week when we had a conversation about who should be the starting goaltender.
Okay.
And I said, without a doubt, Carter Hart, he's your starter. And you said, I don't think so. I think they owe it to Akira Schmid.
I just said there was going to be a goalie controversy. There was going to be a back and forth.
We can run it back.
No, we can't.
And I know you always, I will say this about Eddie. I'm just giving him shit because he gives me props when I'm right, which is all of the fucking time.
Oh.
Here we go. Okay, let's get in here.
Hot take. I'm right all of the time.
Hot take.
Oh, hot
I
take.
am right all the time. When have I been wrong? When have I been wrong?
Well, I don't know, when you gave Hobby Boolin a win a couple of weeks ago.
That was like 2 months ago, and Hobby Boolin's still playing for Tampa as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Second of all, they are going to start Carter Hart in Philly, and here's why I think they will. This is just why I think they will. He's so fucking probably nerved up about going in there because those fans are psychos.
They're fucking maniacs.
Right. I think they should start him. Here's why. If they do, I think the reason why is because they're going to let him go, fuck you. Because, there's going to be nobody that wants to win that game more than Carter Hart.
Oh, he's putting a lot of money on the board that night.
So when you have a goaltender that is absolutely fucking possessed, this is what's going to happen. Now, if they don't, it's just probably because maybe they want to give them the night off, or, like the typical if a goaltender sits kind of thing, or if and I don't know, I never heard anything. I'm just saying, if from a Carter Hart standpoint, if he was like, listen, somebody sent me something really nasty, I feel for my safety or whatever, right? I don't feel comfortable playing, then it's different. But I think that Bruce is going to say,
Do you want this game? Yeah,
this is fucking all yours. This isn't, the NHL is not 11 and under minor hockey where the coach says, you're doing this, whether you like it or not. It's like, okay, how are we feeling? What's the deal? What's going on here? And I think he's going to let him go bust some balls. Absolutely.
I think I might order some pizzas and have some people over to the house and watch the game tomorrow.
What day is that? What day?
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, Thursday.
I don't even know what day it is
Thursday,
today.
4:00 start.
Yeah, I mean...
Think we should get some pizza
yeah,
and
we
have some friends
should.
over the house?
We should.
Might be fun.
Even if it's just me, you, and the cats.
There'll be some content coming out of the house. I can tell you
we
that.
should put a GoPro in there. Can you imagine? Oh, God, we'd be fired.
Yeah.
From ourselves.
And we're the bosses, and we can only fire each
we
other.
Just fired ourselves. There's been times where I probably should have been canceled, and I haven't been, so still going.
I'm so old that's completely irrelevant. I wish they would have canceled me so I didn't have to deal with people.
Literally.
So you're gonna bet he's getting the start tomorrow?
Oh, I think so. I mean, why wouldn't?
And then give Schmid Columbus on the way home.
It's not like they're playing.
They're playing every other day.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not like they're playing back to back, and it's like, oh, we just traveled 95 hours across the country. So.
All right, I want to talk about something that happened last night, and I hope that you didn't hear about it because it was mind-numbing to me. You know anything about the Colorado-Nashville game last night?
No.
Oh, this is going to get you fucking gassed. Colorado scores late in the game, goes to overtime. Nothing happens in the overtime. Here comes the shootout.
I'm already pissed off.
The second shot for Nashville on in the shootout is Philip Forsberg. Game's in Nashville. That's an important thing. Game's in Nashville. Toe picks. Crashes into Blackwood. Right? Flail, flop, whatever. To his credit, Forsberg, who was a teammate of his, calls for the trainer. Right? It looked like he hit this area maybe on the goalpost and maybe did one of these things. Goes on. Next shooter goes, misses. The concussion spotter calls down and pulls the starting goalie out of the game in the middle of the shootout.
Well, you have to. If there's he
got up. He was fine. He made a save.
Oh, he made the next. I thought you meant Colorado shot and then they pulled him out. Nashville shot again?
Yeah. No. Okay, what I'm trying to get to is the home doctor pulled out the visiting goal and he was fine. Right? The referee checked him. The trainer didn't even come out on the ice. He didn't go off the ice or anything like that. Later in the fourth round of the shootout, the concussion spotter is getting away from the microphone. The concussion spotter said, hey, he's got to go out. The goalie, the backup goalie, who had been sitting there for
12 hours.
12 hours, fucking snacking on hot dogs and popcorn and flirting with girls in the front row, had to put on his gear and go in. And if the next player would have scored, Black Wedgwood, the Wood brothers, they're both Woods. The other guy, the starter, who hadn't done anything in 6, would have had to face a penalty shot. Didn't work. It didn't work out that way. There was a stop and the game ended with Nashville made a stop. The Nashville goalie made a stop. That ended the shootout. But if the Nashville player would have scored, God, I hope this story makes some fucking sense because in my head it really does. If Nashville would have scored, if Colorado would have scored, the Nashville shooter would have had a shootout attempt on a goalie who had been eating hot dogs for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Not warmed up. The starting goalie of the best team in the NHL by a lot, the Colorado Avalanche. What if he pulls a fucking groin and misses the rest of the season? Here's where I'm trying to get to, and I fucking fucked it up.
I'm almost done my coffee by the time this is done.
Thank you. Fuck you. The
Fell asleep.
The Nashville doctor was way out of fucking line doing that.
Yeah.
Way out over his skis. Making that call at that point, you either stop it and do it, but no, this was if you would have seen it, if it would have happened with you and I sitting next to each other at the Fortress, we'd have been going fucking bananas because I don't know if you know, the concussion spotter is just a few seats down from us to the right. Could you imagine if this was in the Stanley Cup playoffs and it was a penalty shot? Guy goes in on a breakaway. There's a penalty on the play. He crashes the goalie. Goalie gets up, and then the concussion spotter says, he looks a little bit fucking shaky to me. Let's get the backup in here for the penalty shot. And the 7th game of NHL Stanley Cup playoff series.
Well, first of all, and the goalie that came in would have got the loss or the win.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
Stupid. I don't know how many times I can sit here and talk about how stupid a shootout is to solve a game. It is literally the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen. I don't know why they do it. And this is just another reason of why this is stupid. And there's no reason for it. It's so dumb. It's terrible. It's awful. It's another thing that just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sure Jared Bednar was losing his mind behind the bench for Colorado.
Oh, he was as red as the maroon on their jerseys.
I mean, I can't I get
the only guy that gets redder is, you ever seen Patrick Waugh blow?
Oh God! Oh, he gets wild.
He gets red like I love why he gets like an alcoholic red burst on his face.
Yeah,
he got a couple of those. But anyway, back to your point. Sorry.
It's just like I see why these coaches and these general managers
this is nuts,
go fucking nuts, and are stressed out because the rules of the fucking game are so bad sometimes. Like I don't remember watching a game this year where a coach wasn't incensed by a penalty call. Like, let's be honest, against the Islanders, some of the penalty, I mean, as much as I wouldn't want to see Mitch get a penalty, he probably should have got a tripping penalty in over. I mean, listen, there were some bad calls in that game. There was bad calls in every game.
Well, how about the 4-on-4 call with 12 seconds to go against the Rangers and Sullivan's
Yes.
still hot about it.
Well, like, can you blame him? I mean, and I'm not like, whatever, like everybody's going to be objective about penalty calls and whatever. But like I said to you, and I said this, I think last week, I just turned to you the other night and said, I was born in the wrong era because the hockey I grew up watching was tough. You guy like little taps him on the wrist, slashing penalty, fucking lifts up his stick, hooking penalty. What are you talking about? You lift up the stick and take the puck away and you get a hooking penalty. I forget who it was. Like Vegas got called on that, I think at the last home game. And I was like,
oh yeah, we watched a couple of those.
What am I watching right now? And so I feel like it's getting progressively worse. And then you have guys like Rantanen running guys through the boards and getting a 5-minute penalty or
twice in 2 games.
Yeah, like they want to take out like all the injuries and whatever, the hits to the head and all that kind of stuff. But calling these chintzy, every scout that I talked to in the last 3 years talks about how chintzy the penalties are. It's not just me. It's guys who are in the game that talk about how chintzy the penalties are. It's just getting out of control. And so these calls, I would consider it obviously officiating.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically it is. I would be happy if they went 3-1-0, like the Premier Soccer League, 3 points for win, and play.
Yeah.
I agree with playing 5 minutes of overtime, right? Maybe even make it 7 minutes of overtime. But that's it. If it ain't solved, each team gets a point, and that's it.
Someone explain to me why it changed. Why did the league feel that it needed to change?
Fans.
Right.
I don't know. I
agree. It's probably fans.
It would have to. I mean, the fans,
but
enjoy the theater. Well, listen, am I wrong? Is it not theater?
No. Here's the deal. Any fans I know where I come from don't give a shit. They hate the 3-on-3 overtime. They hate the shootout. They're believers in 5-on-5, 5-minute. If it's not solved, each team gets a point. Bye. Move on. We don't need the fucking pomp and circumstance of the shootout and the this and the that.
I'm okay getting rid of the shootout. I would prefer if they adopted the 3-on-3 rules that the PWHL has. If you retreat out of the offensive zone, whistle, defensive zone face-off, hard stop. I think that makes a much more compelling limited period of time than regroup, puck possession, puck possession, probe, maybe get a shot, turn, that whole thing. If they were forced once they entered to stay until there was a turnover or, some sort of a decision, that would make it much more compelling because in essence, you've now shrunk the ice to 65, 70 feet or whatever the offensive zones are. Now you've got 6 NHL guys in a box. You get entertainment there. A willing retreat stops the game. You've got a defensive zone face-off. I think that makes overtime incredibly more compelling.
If they're going to keep it 3-on-3, which I think is stupid, they have to change something.
They do.
Like I agree with you, like exactly the same thing. But again, now we're just trying to Band-Aid this next problem. Now we just ripped one Band-Aid off and now it's still bleeding. So we're going to put another Band-Aid on it. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? It doesn't make any sense to me. I do agree that that's probably what they're going to have to do and that the PWHL, that's a great thing that they do.
And, to their credit, and I admit I've not watched 1 second of the games, they seem to be the incubator for new ideas. It's like we give them, you guys try this, and if we like it, maybe we'll try it in the preseason, and then we'll go to a manager's meeting and see if we want to put it in. So they seem to be an interesting incubator for non-traditional potential rule changes. If you score a shorthanded goal, the penalty's up. Stuff like that. And I'm a purist. You're a purist. But some of those ideas are kind of interesting and might make the game a little bit more entertaining for the fans.
Okay. First of all, Don Cherry said it perfectly. They've had hockey in the United States as long as we've had it in Canada, and they still don't give a fuck. So why are we conforming to the fans? If you don't like the way it is, don't watch. That's my viewpoint. Because I don't know people until I moved down here that you had to sell the game.
I'm a huge Grapes fan, but that's incredibly naive when you have to think about the business aspect of it.
But it's true.
To a point, you have to build a fan-friendly game, or revenues aren't going to go up.
Okay, but then stop putting teams where nobody gives a shit.
Well,
that's the problem. We put teams in fucking 2 in Florida. We got 500 in California. No one cares. We're trying to market the game. Then stop putting teams where people don't care.
but what about Vegas?
Vegas is a tourist destination. Things that are done in Las Vegas are done differently in a lot of companies because of the way it operates. Because there's so many, look how many people come.
Jeez, you're talking about Vegas like you've lived here for 35
but
or 36
No,
years.
but I've seen like companies that I've worked for that the way they look at Las Vegas, they would do something completely different because of the foot traffic, like not foot traffic, but like you
Tourism.
get more, yeah. There's more foot traffic on the strip. There's more whatever, right?
Yeah, because visiting teams' fans, when it's the middle of February and they're up to their ass in Calgary and it's 18 below, and the Golden Knights are here for a Saturday night game, they go, hey, Marge, let's go watch the fucking Flames in Vegas. That'll be fun.
Well, a lot of times it's cheaper for like, and I've seen it when I lived in California. People would fly down from Edmonton because they can go to 2 games. Right.
They can do the Kings and the Ducks.
Right. They can go to 2 games in 3 nights. It's cheaper for them to buy plane tickets, pay for hotels, and get tickets there than it is to just buy the hockey tickets in Edmonton. So they go down, they take a long weekend or whatever, and they go down. Same as here. You know, like there was a time here in March when I was here. Edmonton was like a Tuesday and Winnipeg was a Thursday. Well, people are like, what the hell?
You know what the significance of that trip was?
That was when we met. Oh, how special.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to punch the mic. That was a touchy feeling moment, and now I'm done talking. So that's the end of the episode. Thanks.
As I always used to say on our old podcast, because Grapes would say this at the end of Coach's Corner, I don't get enough time on this show.
I'm done. Yeah. Thanks to Dr. John Pierce at Ageless Forever. Thanks to Golf Gods. GolfGodsOnline.com. Get yourself some good goddamn golf swag. And hopefully they'll send some to us. Follow us on Instagram. Go to HockeyNightsVegas.com if you would prefer not to see my face. The podcast is available on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and basically everywhere else where you get your podcast. We'll be back with more shenanigans next week. Thanks for viewing.